Tonight, we begin with a major development that legal experts have long expected, political insiders have quietly discussed, and the American public has been following with increasing attention. The impeachment process involving former President Donald Trump has taken a serious and dramatic step forward. Judges have now issued a clear and sobering warning. Jail time is a real possibility. This is not just another episode in a long-running political drama. What happened today marks a turning point. Events unfolded not over months or even weeks, but within a single day. In just a matter of hours, the legal and political risks facing Trump rose sharply. Those same hours set the stage for what could become a historic clash between a former president and the American justice system. Today, a boundary was crossed, one that Trump's legal team had hoped would never be reached. Once that line was crossed, the courts acted without hesitation. Their response was firm, immediate, and unmistakable. The message was simple and direct. No one, not even a former president, is above the law. For months, there had been signs that this moment was coming, not through official announcements or leaked documents, but through quiet signals. Congressional investigators have been persistent, but also careful and calculated. Meanwhile, Trump's legal strategy followed a familiar playbook: delay, distract, and deny. But this week, something changed, and that change set off alarms in Washington. Experts who closely track high-profile political cases recognize the warning signs. There was a sudden rise in closed-door hearings on Capitol Hill. Several key Trump allies were noticeably absent from public appearances. Scheduled rallies and media events were abruptly canceled. At the same time, private discussions between congressional leaders and the Department of Justice intensified. Taken together, these signals pointed to one conclusion: the process was entering its final stage. When legal and political action suddenly speeds up, it usually means a major development is imminent. And early this morning, that development arrived. The House Judiciary Committee announced that articles of impeachment against Donald Trump would move forward to a full vote in the House. The statement was brief, firm, and left no room for doubt. Almost immediately, Trump's legal team responded by filing a motion to dismiss the case, claiming the impeachment effort was unconstitutional and driven by politics. But the judges overseeing related criminal matters moved just as quickly. In a joint statement, they warned that any effort to interfere with or avoid the legal process would be met with strict consequences, including the possibility of incarceration. The news spread fast. Television networks cut into regular programming. Social media lit up with reactions from supporters and critics alike. Legal experts across the country described the moment as a turning point in American history. The warning issued by the judges tonight was not routine. It was not symbolic. It was urgent, serious, and historic. After reviewing the statement, legal scholars called it unprecedented and decisive. Most importantly, they said it reinforced a core principle of American democracy. The law applies equally to everyone. But a warning only matters if it is followed. Trump's response came quickly and forcefully. In a statement released by his spokesperson, the former president dismissed the proceedings as a sham and said he was prepared to fight the case all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. Still, the court's position was unmistakable. Delays will no longer be tolerated. The legal system, built on accountability, is moving ahead. Multiple sources confirmed tonight that the articles of impeachment focus on several serious allegations. These include abuse of power, obstruction of justice, and contempt of Congress. The evidence spans a wide range of materials. Testimony from former White House officials, internal emails and communications, financial documents, phone records, and perhaps most damaging, Trump's own public statements. Legal experts say the investigation is extensive. Key questions are now front and center. What did Trump know, and when did he know it? Who did he direct, and what actions followed those instructions? Were there efforts to block justice or influence witnesses? The judge's warning makes one thing clear: Trump must comply with all subpoenas and court orders. Failure to do so, or any attempt to provide misleading information, could lead to immediate jail time under charges of contempt or perjury. Trump's legal team is preparing for an intense legal fight. They are expected to challenge every document, object to every question, and use every legal option available to defend their client. Even so, the courts have emphasized that the same rules apply to everyone. Trump's legal team is preparing for an intense legal fight. They are expected to challenge every document, object to every question, and use every legal option available to defend their client. Even so, the courts have emphasized that the same rules apply to everyone. This is where the situation becomes truly extraordinary. Legal historians say this is the first time in modern American history that a former president is facing impeachment alongside a genuine risk of incarceration. The consequences extend far beyond one individual. They raise serious questions about the presidency itself. Analysts say the judge's actions send a powerful signal. The rule of law comes first. The case also forces a closer look at executive privilege, the limits of presidential authority, and the responsibility that comes with holding the nation's highest office. For Trump, the danger is significant. A single false statement or refusal to cooperate could trigger severe legal consequences. For the justice system, the task is equally demanding: to ensure that the process remains fair, open, and free from political pressure. As the news echoes across the country, the importance of this moment is becoming clearer. Congressional leaders are watching carefully. Some are calling for further investigations, while others caution against turning the courts into political tools. Legal scholars are debating what this means for presidential immunity and the balance of power. The American public remains deeply divided. Some see today's events as a triumph for justice. Others view them as a partisan attack. But beyond politics, this case represents something larger. This is not only a legal fight. It is a test of the nation's commitment to the rule of law. Every decision made now will shape how future presidents are investigated and held accountable. The consequences will reach far into the future of American democracy. The United States has faced moments like this before. From Watergate to Iran-Contra, from President Clinton's impeachment to the Mueller investigation, the nation has repeatedly confronted the same question: is anyone truly above the law? Tonight, that question carries even more weight. The country is more divided than ever, the legal issues are more complex, and the potential outcomes are more far-reaching. The judge's warning serves as a reminder that the law applies to everyone, regardless of power or position. So what comes next? The House is expected to vote on the articles of impeachment within days. If they pass, the case will move to the Senate for trial. At the same time, Trump must comply fully with all court orders and subpoenas. Every step of this process will be watched closely. Every statement, every answer, and every objection will be examined by legal experts, journalists, and the public. If Trump refuses to cooperate, the court has the authority to impose penalties, including fines or jail time. If he testifies and is found to have lied under oath, he could face perjury charges. The final outcome will shape not only Trump's future, but also the future of the presidency, the courts, and the country itself. Tonight, one thing is undeniable. The idea of presidential immunity is being challenged as never before. The rule of law itself is on trial, and the world is paying attention. As news of the impeachment process and the judge's warning spreads, reactions are swift and intense. In Washington, lawmakers from both parties are speaking out. Many Democrats describe this as a long overdue step toward accountability, arguing that democracy depends on equal justice under the law. One senator called it a victory for American democracy, adding that no former president is above the law. Republicans, meanwhile, are standing firmly behind Trump. They argue the case is politically motivated and warn that it could set a dangerous precedent. Some claim the legal system is being used against political opponents, a claim legal experts say is not supported by the evidence, but one that resonates strongly with Trump's supporters. Across the country, Americans are closely following developments. Families are gathered around televisions, checking phones for updates, and debating what this all means. For some, it represents progress toward accountability. For others, it deepens fears about division and instability. Legal analysts caution that the road ahead will be difficult. Securing testimony from a former president, navigating appeals, and managing public reaction all pose serious challenges. Still, most agree that the judge's warning signals that the legal process will continue, no matter how powerful the defendant, Behind closed doors, Trump's legal team is preparing for what may be the most consequential battle of their careers. Tonight, as the nation stands at a historic crossroads, one truth stands out. The eyes of the world are fixed on the United States. What happens next will not only define the fate of... This is Rachel Maddow. Thank you for watching, and good night.